Beneath the moon that softly stayed, a shining face in silence prayed. Its light was warm, its beauty bright, yet shadows followed every night. The eyes that sparkled like the sea held storms no stranger came to see. A smile rested upon his skin, while aching worlds lived deep within. He walked through crowds of laughing sound, but loneliness was always found. Applause would rise, hands would embrace, yet sadness traced the shining face. The mirrors told a different tale, of fragile hopes already pale, of dreams once strong now slowly torn, like roses dying before the morn. He gave the world his gentle glow, and hid the wounds he'd never show, for hearts that shine the brightest light often break in quiet night. The wind would ask, "Why do you cry?" He'd lift his head and just deny, because the strong are taught to hide the trembling oceans kept inside. Memories walked beside his soul, pieces searching to be whole, each laughter shared, each tear denied, built deeper walls where fears could hide. Love once knocked upon his door, promising forevermore, but promises like fragile glass shattered as the seasons passed. Still he stood with gentle grace, hope reflected on his face, though every heartbeat softly said a shining soul was slowly bled. Night became his truest friend, where broken thoughts could freely bend. Stars would listen from above to stories shaped by lost love. He wrote his pain upon the air, words too heavy for repair. Every sigh a silent art, echoes of a broken heart. Morning came with golden hue, painting skies in hopeful blue, yet even sunlight could not erase the cracks within the shining face. People saw a guiding flame, strength and beauty wrapped in fame, but none could feel the quiet fight he battled gently every night. The heart beneath that glowing skin was tired of pretending to win, for even light begins to fade when too many tears are made. Still he walked, still he shone, though he felt completely alone, carrying dreams too torn to chase, behind the glow of a shining face. And somewhere deep where silence starts, lived the truth of shattered hearts, that those who shine for all to see often hide the deepest plea. The wind remembered every scar, every wish upon a star, every hope he tried to save from the sorrow he once gave. Yet in the cracks a light remained, soft and pure though deeply pained, for even hearts that break apart still beat with courage at their heart. So if you meet a shining face, pause a moment, slow your pace, for behind the brightest art may live a softly broken heart. Even when laughter filled the hall, he felt the emptiness of it all, each cheer a shadow he could not embrace, hiding beneath the shining face. Whispers followed him through days, questions masked in subtle ways. Why so bright? Why not despair? They never knew the pain he'd bear. The nights were long, the silence deep, secrets that he could not keep. A heart that throbbed beneath the glow, carried storms the world must never know. Sometimes he dreamt of letting fall the mask, the smile that fooled them all, to show the cracks, the jagged lines, the hidden grief beneath the shine. The moon would watch, a patient friend, witness to the wounds that wouldn't mend, and as the stars traced paths above, he whispered to them tales of love. Love that promised endless light, but vanished with the coming night, leaving only memories frail, a tender heart set to travail. Even the flowers in the spring could not heal the ache he'd bring. Each petal bright, each leaf in place, felt like a mirror to his face. He walked the streets, a gentle ghost, loved by many, yet missed the most, the simple touch of someone near, to calm the ache he held so dear. Pain became a quiet song, played softly, endlessly, and long, yet every note was bittersweet, a hidden heart that skipped a beat. Some nights he thought the world too cold, for those whose hearts were brave and bold, who gave their light for others' eyes, and hid the tears, the silent cries. But even in despair's embrace, a tiny glow stayed on his face, for even broken hearts can shine, and leave a spark in space and time. The wind carried his soft lament, words unspoken, time well spent, and though the world would never see the depth of his fragility, the sun would rise, the world awake, and people praised the joy he'd make. But he alone would always trace the shadow lines behind his face. And somewhere, hidden in his gaze, were countless, quietly aching days, moments lost and never found, thoughts that circled, tightly wound. Yet still he gave, still he shone, even when he felt alone. For hearts that break in secret ways can light the world through darkest days. Though laughter followed him by day, the night revealed a different way, a labyrinth of silent fears, a river running full of tears. Each smile a fragile, painted shield, a tender heart that would not yield. For though the world adored his glow, inside, the pain would only grow. He wandered through the crowded streets, felt echoes of his heartbeats, the rhythm heavy, slow, and deep, secrets that he could not keep. The sun admired him from above, but could not know the weight of love, the love he gave, the love he lost, the tender hearts that paid the cost. A child once laughed beneath his eyes, and in that laughter sorrow lies, for joy was fleeting, always gone, like fragile dew at early dawn. He spoke to no one of his grief, found in silence some relief, and wrote his pain in secret ways, a diary of long, lonely days. The stars above became his friends, witnessing where the darkness bends. They held his wishes in their light, and watched him battle endless night. Each tear he shed a quiet art, a hidden song of a broken heart, and though the world would never see, its rhythm shaped his quiet plea. He loved in whispers, soft and low, fears the world would never know. Each heartbeat held a story long, a hidden note in silent song. Even when praised for all he gave, he walked the edge of a lonely grave, not for death, but dreams that failed, and tender hopes that had been jailed. The wind would brush against his skin, a gentle echo from within, reminding him that even bright could carry shadows in the light. And still he rose each breaking day, masked in warmth, kept pain at bay, for hearts like his must always shine, even when deeply torn inside. The quiet moments, rare and brief, were filled with sorrow, filled with grief. Yet in that darkness, strength would bloom, a soft defiance to the gloom. Every hand that reached to touch, every voice that praised so much, could never know the storms he faced, the solitude behind his face. The night would cradle him in care, a silent witness to despair, and as the world slept unaware, he breathed his sorrow into air. The mirror told the story true, of light and cracks in every hue, and though the world could not embrace, it saw the shining, broken face. He walked alone where shadows creep, through silent streets that could not weep, and in the dark, his thoughts would play, 1,000 nights that felt like day. Each heartbeat echoed soft and low, a secret world the world could know, the weight of dreams he could not claim, a flickering, unspoken flame. Sometimes he paused to watch the rain, and felt it wash away his pain. Yet even droplets could not cleanse the hidden wounds that made no sense. His laughter, bright as summer sun, was often forced, a fleeting one, for hearts that shine are taught to hide the tempest raging deep inside. He wrote in journals, pages thin, every sorrow, every sin, and though no eyes would ever read, each line was born from aching need. The wind would whisper through the trees, a soft companion to his pleas, and stars would gleam as if to say, even broken hearts can find their way. He thought of love that slipped through time, promises lost, a cruel rhyme, and though the world saw only grace, pain lingered on his shining face. The seasons passed with gentle stride, yet left him standing, torn inside, for even blooms of spring's delight could not revive the endless night. He often dreamed of letting fall the mask, the smile that fooled them all, to show the cracks, the jagged lines, the fragile soul beneath the shine. Yet courage held him firm and still, a quiet force, a stubborn will, for even when his heart would break, he gave the world the light he'd make. The children's laughter, soft and sweet, would make his heavy heart repeat, a song of hope he could not share, a gentle light beyond repair. At times he wandered near the shore, where waves would speak of ancient lore, and in their crash, he found a sound that mirrored grief, profound, unbound. The night became a trusted friend, a place where broken thoughts could mend, where whispers carried through the air, and no one knew the depths of care. He met the eyes of strangers bright, and offered smiles that hid the night, the hidden pain no one could trace, behind the glow of shining face. The moon became a loyal guide, to walk with him through tears he'd hide, and in its silver, gentle glow, he found a peace the world could know. Every word he spoke to none, every battle lost or won, carried weight too vast to name, yet still he shone, a quiet flame. The heart beneath, though bruised and torn, was still a rose that dared to mourn, and even in the deepest grief, it sought the light however brief. He dreamed of skies where pain would fade, where hearts were free, not trapped, betrayed, and though the world could not perceive, he held the strength to still believe. Sometimes he lingered by the stream, where sunlight danced like a fragile dream, and in the ripples of the water's face, he saw the cracks he tried to erase. The world would call him brave and strong, but only night could hear his song, a melody of quiet despair, notes of longing floating in air. He spoke to shadows, soft and kind, confidence to a restless mind, for in the presence of the dark, his sorrow found a gentle spark. Every step upon the ground echoed a heart that barely found a place to rest, a place to heal, a tender wound the world could feel. The flowers bowed beneath his gaze, colors muted, caught in a haze, for beauty often comes with pain, and sunshine dances through the rain. He thought of friends he could not tell the secrets in which his heart would dwell, of nights spent tracing stars above, of silent prayers for lost love. Even the wind seemed to understand the trembling weight he could not stand, carrying whispers from afar, like echoes of an unseen scar. Sometimes he wished to disappear, to leave behind both smile and tear, but courage bound him to the earth, a quiet hero of silent worth. The city lights would sparkle bright, yet none could pierce the lonely night, the heart that beat behind the glow, the tender soul no one could know. He often paused in crowded streets, felt eyes upon him, warm and sweet, and yet a shadow walked beside, the broken heart he could not hide. Music played in golden halls, yet even there he felt the walls, closing in upon his mind, a cage of memories left behind. He longed for love, for gentle touch, for someone who could bear as much, and yet he kept the world at bay, afraid that hope would fade away. The moon would trace a silver line across his heart, a sacred sign that even when the soul is torn, a tiny spark remains reborn. He saw the children laugh and play, a fleeting joy that could not stay, and wondered if they too would find a heart that's gentle, yet confined. The rain would fall upon his face, a cleansing balm, a soft embrace, but even water could not remove the scars etched deep, the lost love's proof. Sometimes he wrote in books of old, stories of courage, tales of gold, and though no reader ever knew, each word contained his own heart's hue. The night became a trusted friend, a place where broken thoughts could bend, and in the stillness, soft and deep, he found the space to grieve and weep. Even the stars would seem to sigh, reflecting questions of the sky, and in their light he'd sometimes see the hope he longed for secretly. The breeze would brush against his skin, a gentle whisper from within, and though the world would never guess, he held a fragile tenderness. He met the eyes of strangers bright, and offered smiles that hid the night, a glowing mask that never breaks, yet underneath, the sorrow aches. Memories walked beside him still, haunting valleys, whispering hills, yet even in the deepest pain, a quiet courage would remain. He often dreamed of letting fall the mask, the smile that fooled them all, but strength would bind him to the light, even when exhausted from the fight. The heart beneath the shining face was tender, brave, and full of grace, a fragile fire, soft but true, burning quietly for a few. Even when the world turned away, he found small sparks to guide his way, and though his tears were often unseen, his courage glimmered, soft and keen. He wandered through the silent night, where shadows danced in silver light, and in the quiet, he would hear the echoes of a hidden tear. Each step he took was soft, restrained, by memories that still remained, of laughter lost and dreams betrayed, of tender hearts that slowly frayed. The world admired the gentle glow, the light he shared for all to know, yet underneath the shining grace lay endless nights he could not face. He met a stranger's fleeting glance, and almost let his sorrow dance, but courage whispered, "Hold it in." For hearts like yours are taught to grin. Sometimes he walked beside the sea, its waves a mirror of the plea. The tide would rise, the tide would fall, and in its roar he heard his call. The moon would watch with patient eyes, witness to both truth and lies, and though the world could never see, it knew the depth of his quiet plea. He dreamed of places far away, where pain could vanish, hearts could stay, but even dreams would fade too fast, and leave the scars that always last. The wind became a constant friend, a gentle voice that would not end, carrying whispers soft and low, stories that no one else could know. He wrote in journals late at night, words that carried hidden fright, and though the world would never read, each sentence flowed from quiet need. He met with friends in fleeting hours, shared laughter soft as blooming flowers, yet underneath the tender guise lay aching hearts and hidden cries. The stars above would softly gleam, witnessing every broken dream, and in their light he sometimes found a strength to stand, though tightly bound. The city streets were bright with cheer, yet none could feel the creeping fear, the tender wounds that lay beneath the shining mask he dared bequeath. He thought of love that never stayed, promises made, then torn away, and though the world could only see a face that smiled effortlessly, inside, the heart was bruised and torn, like roses stripped before the morn, and yet he shone with softest light through endless hours of lonely night. The rain would fall upon his hair and cool the heat of silent care, yet even droplets could not cleanse the hidden pain that made no sense. Sometimes he lingered by the trees, where branches swayed in gentle breeze, and felt the world move on too fast, while he still carried shadows cast. The wind would tell him tales of old, of hearts that broke, of love untold, and in its song he found a trace of courage deep within his grace. He walked through gardens lush and green, where sunlight played and shimmered keen, yet even beauty could not hide the ache that stirred deep down inside. Each heartbeat held a secret song, a melody both soft and strong, and though the world could never see, it pulsed with quiet agony. He sometimes thought to disappear, to leave behind both smile and tear, yet in his chest a flame remained, a gentle hope that never waned. He gave the world his tender light, even when it cost him night, and though his heart was often torn,